welcome to Wells High FYI. I'm Krista Ellis.
And I'm Jen Flagg. In the top news tonight, American students may take a visit to the Soviet Union. The Wells Branch Quartet plays for the Andover Church Easter service, and this evening we have a feature on the opinions of the results of the NCAA college basketball games. For American students interested in visiting a foreign country for a year, there has always been a limit to the countries they could live in until now. An American organization called Educational Foundation has plans underway for a student exchange, which the Soviet Union, for the first time in its 10-year existence, EF, will be sending American high school students to the Soviet Republic called Estonia. In exchange, a group of Estonian students will visit the United States. Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev is partly responsible for this move, as he has led the way to the drastic changes in the policies of the Soviet Union. If you have any interest in living in Estonia for a year or in any other country, you can contact your local EF representative, Deborah Harris, at 646-3248, or you can call the EF Foundation itself at 1-800-992-9479. Last Saturday night, the junior class sponsored a dance with an added attraction. The dance was held in the cafeteria, and halfway through the evening, the band Dark Blue took the stage. The band was led by lead singer and guitarist Tim Terrio, along with the guitarist Nate Dufort, bassist Ryan Collins, and drummer Mark Wentworth. The band played a selection of songs such as After Midnight, Free Bird, Shooting Star, and Sweet Child of Mine. FYI correspondent Tracy Dickerson caught up with the Dark Blues bassist, Ryan Collins. Here's what he had to say about the situation.
Ryan, how long have you been playing in the band Dark Blue?
We've been playing since the beginning of our 8th grade year now.
How did the band first get together?
I was really good friends with Tim since like 5th grade, and he'd always played guitar since he was about 7 years old. And he eventually got me into it, and then we found out that Eric Bacon played drums, so we, had him come along, and, people have just been coming and going ever since.
What type of music does the band play?
We play mostly 60s music, 70s music. We have to, put a few 80s tunes in, because that's what people like, but we don't really like them that much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you added any new members?
Yeah, we replaced Eric Bacon, the original drummer, with Mark Wentworth, and John Basil, who used to play with us, moved away, so we had Nate Duford step in as another guitarist for us.
Mm-hmm. Do you have plans to play anywhere else, maybe like this summer at a club or anything?
Yeah, we played at Polly's restaurant last year, and we plan on playing at different places around, Wells and Gunquit this summer if we get the chance.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, the best of luck to you.
Thanks.
So if in 5 years you hear the name Dark Blue mentioned on the radio, remember, you heard it here first. This has been Tracy Dickerson with Ryan Collins for FYI.
Thank you, Tracy. Monday, several classes went on a field trip to Lott Home Farm. Pam Parrott's biology class, David Nordstrom's earth science class, and Monique Covlinson's mathematics class as well as an 8th grade science class went on the trip also. The trip was planned as an introduction to the farm, as well as to share the buildings and the newly remodeled house. Parrott commented that the trip was to show the students the importance of Lott Home Farm. Krista?
Attention all 4th, 8th, and 11th graders. Your reading, writing, and arithmetic will be tested this week and next. Starting Wednesday, March 29th, the main educational assessment test will be given. They will continue on Thursday, Monday, and Tuesday. The MEAs originated in 1984 as part of an Educational Reform Act. The Act's aims are to check students' academic progress as an individual and as a class. Teachers use the results to evaluate their methods of teaching. In this way, they can determine if these methods need improvement. Parents will also receive the results so that they may be aware of their children's achievement in school. The state of Maine has been testing 4th, 8th, and 11th graders for 4 years now. The state's use of results to evaluate the achievement of all Maine students and compare the results regionally. Parents, get all the rest you can, because little ones will be home sooner than you expect on Friday, March 31st. Both Wells and Ogunquit students will be released early this Friday due to a teacher workshop that will primarily review the organization of the grades kindergarten through 8th. Times of the release are as follows. High school students will be released at 11:55, junior high students at 12 o'clock, Ogunquit Village School at 12:30, and Wells Elementary at 1 o'clock. In Wells Junior High news, students are preparing speeches with the theme My State for the annual civic oration contest sponsored by the Modern Woodsmen of America. The contest began in 1948 as a community service of the Modern Woodmen of America. The purpose of the contest is to provide students with the opportunity and the incentive to develop and exercise speaking skills. Students will be presenting their speeches in front of the school on April 14th. Jen?
Have you ever heard of the Boston Crusaders? No, they aren't the modern-day Minutemen, but a group of percussion, brass, and auxiliary majors who are part of the Drum and Corps International. Located in Boston, the Crusaders are made up of members ages 13 to 21 around the world who audition for a place in the band. Representing Wells High School is senior Chris Tangway, a member of the marching band who plays soprano. She practices weekends with the other 100 members of the Crusaders, and will be moving to Boston this summer to travel with the Crusaders around the United States and Canada. They will compete with other drum and bugle corps during the coming months. FYI correspondent Holly Weber had a chance to speak with her.
I'm here with Boston Crusader Christine Tangway. Christine, exactly what are the Boston Crusades?
We're a drum corps international group. It's a lot like marching band, but it's on an international level.
How did you get involved with this?
They set up booths with information at all the marching band competitions in Maine, and then we had them come speak with us at band camps.
Do kids come from all over the world for this?
We have a couple from England this year, and I think one from Australia.
How long will it be lasting for?
We've been practicing all winter, and it'll go through August, then we'll probably take a break till November.
Okay, thank you. Good luck. This has been Holly Weber for FYI News. Now back to the studio.
How did you spend your Easter Sunday? The Wells Branch Quartet spent it quite musically. The group traveled down to Andover, Massachusetts, where they played several pieces during the course of the church service held at the Congregational Church in Andover. One of the quartet's regular members, Larry Downing, was unable to attend this particular performance. So Wells High senior Mark Harnum was chosen to take his place. Roving reporter Tracy Dickerson spoke with Harnum about the quartet.
Mark, why were you chosen to play with the Wells Branch Quartet?
Well, because Mr. Downing, when he can't make it to certain performances, he asked me to film in because I play the same instrument as he does.
Mm-hmm. And what instrument is that you play?
The trumpet.
The trumpet. What type of selections does the band play?
We play classical and baroque, which is another musical time period. And then they arrange, Skip Downing, who is Mr. Downing's brother, arranges a lot of the music. He'll arrange like Beatles songs, and he'll arrange, different songs in this era.
Mm-hmm. And how was the overall performance on Sunday?
It went well. We did a performance like maybe a month ago, and we improved this performance from that one.
Great. Today, the Wells Branch Quartet. Tomorrow, perhaps the New York Symphony Orchestra. This has been Tracy Dickerson with Mark Harnum for Wells High FYI.
Thanks, Tracy and Mark. In local news this week, for all you Ogunquit Town members that have been bored with the winter slump, get ready for Candidate Night. Candidate Night will take place on March 30th at 7 p.m., where this event has been placed to introduce the candidates for various offices in the Ogunquit community. With the help of moderator Bob Roach, townspeople have the chance to discuss issues that they think need to be brought up. Elections are scheduled for April 1st. And now for a look at someone else's view of the world, we have this week's editorial with Benjamin Harris.
The citizens of Wells, Maine ought to be proud to know that their tax dollars were well spent this year. The expansion project that was voted on last year has finally been completed. As well as an addition of library space, there's been a new third floor added to the high school. At last, it seems that the hallways are not as crowded. It has been just over a month since the third floor was officially open to the student body. The initial excitement caused by the brand new classrooms and the shiny new fixtures everywhere has pretty much died down. It's now that I'm beginning to realize that there's something missing up here on the third floor. You see, in every other classroom in the high school on the other two floors, there's some very beautiful scenery outside the windows. Now I'll admit that most of the scenery consists of trees and freshly cut grass and a little bit of flowers, but the natural setting just seems to put students at ease. Yet up here on the third floor, all we have to look at is some rather dull-looking rooftop of Wells High School. Perhaps something could be done to liven up the scene of this rooftop. I propose a couple of ideas. Maybe the ventilation fixtures could be painted just to add some color to this rather dull-looking rooftop. Perhaps the art classes could be allowed to do something with these ventilation fixtures. Another idea is to put some bird feeders on the roof for the seagulls, which occasionally come to visit the high school. There are already some bird feeders down at the ground level. Why not bring one or two up on the rooftop? Now I know that as students we shouldn't be worried about what's outside the windows, but windows were invented for a reason. I just feel that adding some life and some color outside the windows is a good idea. It gives Wells High School some character, and it would make the third floor just as much a part of the school as everywhere else.
Good evening and welcome to FYI Sports. I'm Adam Zoyce.
And I'm Missy Chase. With sunshine and clear blue skies upon us, the spring track season starts once again. On Thursday, March 23rd, the track team officially started their spring season, but for most, training began weeks ago. Catherine Kalo, the head coach this year, with assistants Bob Wynn and Bruce Farron. Approximately 40 students signed up for track, and their first home meet will be April 25th against York and Shakopee. Holly Weber spoke with Kalo about her new job.
I'm here with the new head coach of track, Kathy Kalo, here at Wells High. Miss Kalo, how did you get into coaching?
Well, my experience in track and field starts back when I was in high school, and I was a javelin thrower, went into college throwing, and was rather successful in my career. And so I've always had a real big interest in it, and I've particularly in the field events, I have to say, because my success in college, I found that, you know, all that I learned, it would be fun to work with kids, and I coached the basketball team the junior high basketball team, and I thought it would be a really neat experience to move up to the high school and work with some older kids instead of with the elementary and junior high kids.
So you said you've coached basketball before. Have you ever coached track?
Yes, I have. In 1986-87 year, I was down coaching the field events at York High School, and I'm formerly from York High School, and I work with primarily just the girls throwers. So I have had a year at the high school level coaching.
What are your predictions for this year?
That's a really tough question because I'm really unfamiliar with the kids at Wells High School. I know certain people. I'm real familiar with Nate Dingle, Kirsten Gowdy, and you know, there's just a few. But with the runners and the jumpers, it's going to take me a good month and a half just to find out potentially where they stand and where they are in relationship to the league. So it's really hard for me to answer that right now.
When is your first meet?
Our first meet is a dual meet or a tri-meet with York and I believe Shakopee, and that's going to be a home meet here. Our first two home meets, and that starts the 25th of April. And then after that, we have a meet each week.
Well, thank you. Good luck to you.
Okay, thank you.
This has been Holly Weber for FYI. Now back to the studio.
As spring fever is setting in, do you find yourself wishing for something to do after school? Why not join the tennis club? History teacher Corey Thing will be the advisor of the club, along with help from John Bartot. Beginning on April 3rd, the group will practice 3 times a week at the Wells Recreation area. Thing is not sure if there will be team play against other schools, but he says that the club will hold challenger matches to seed the players. Anyone interested in the tennis club who did not attend the first meeting should get in touch with Corey Thing prior to April 3rd. Holly McHale has more on the story with Mr. Thing.
Hi, I'm Holly McHale here with Wells history teacher Corey Thing. Mr. Thing, whose idea was it to start tennis at Wells?
It's not my original idea, Miss Morrison. Several years ago, Harry Toma, who's also a history teacher here, came up with the idea of forming a club. He's been doing it ever since. All I'd like to do is take it one step further and over the next couple of years create a team whereby we can play so-called good teams like Kennebunk, Cape Elizabeth, York, Sanford, to really get an established athletic team here for tennis, because there should be one here.
And what process did you have to go through to get this started?
Same process I go through, I just do it. And then after I do it, I find out if it's legal or not. And so far, this is okay. A student helped me get a lot of it organized. And I'm just going to oversee it and make sure it runs smoothly.
Do you expect a large turnout this year?
We had a meeting last week. Last Wednesday, 32 people turned out. That's good. Some will drop out, I'm sure. But that's a good turnout. And there's a few more who want to sign up. So that's why there should be a team here at Wells High. We don't have any tennis courts. However, I'd be willing to pave over part of the parking lot out there and turn it into 3 very nice tennis courts. That's neither here nor there.
Now, seeing is that as though you're in charge of this, I'm sure everyone's wondering, are you a big tennis pro yourself? Is that what interests you?
If I were a big pro, I would be making big money on the big pro circuit. I played a lot. Started when I was 4 or 5, and I used to play all the time. I played all through high school. I stopped after second year of college for reasons I shall not disclose. I'm no pro. No, I was fairly good as a kid. I'm not too bad now, except my age is taking over. It's just taking its toll. It's an enjoyable sport. You can play it until you're 95. It's not like football. It's not like baseball where you need 9 people. It's tennis. And, it's worthwhile.
Okay, well, thank you, and good luck with your program.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me up here.
This has been Holly McHale reporting for FYI.
In other athletic news, students who have passed by the weight room have probably seen T.J. Marks and Dan Marquis pumping iron in their free time. Recently, the 2 juniors competed in a powerlifting competition in Kennebunk. Marquis placed first in the 123-pound category, while Marks placed third in the 283-pound category. Marks also placed first in the bench press competition by lifting 240 pounds. Congratulations to both participants. Another Wells High athlete, Holly McHale, has received many awards in her high school career for being an excellent basketball player, but none has been more rewarding than being named to the 1989 McDonald's Western Maine All-Star Class AB team. Holly, along with several other area girls, participated in an all-star game Saturday night at Colby College. The West beat the East 70-63 in a very exciting game. Holly started the game and only scored 6 points, but considering that the talent she was playing against, it was quite an accomplishment. Holly said that she wouldn't have traded anything not to play in that game for the world. Playing in front of a college-type crowd was exciting, commented Holly. Holly will attend St. Joseph's College next year and plans to play basketball. Missy?
When the final horn was sounded on Sunday night in the Duke vs. Georgetown game, one thing was for certain. Whoever wins the championship this year will win it for the first time in their school's history. Duke, led behind Danny Ferry, beat Georgetown 86-78 to make a return trip to the Final Four, where they lost to the eventual champ Kansas in the semifinal game last year. A few hours earlier, the Fightin' Illini out-rebounded Syracuse despite being considerably smaller and came away with the biggest upset of the day. Lou Henson's Fightin' Illini gave Syracuse a taste of their own medicine by playing an up-tempo game and setting up for the alley-oop. On Friday night, the Michigan Wolverines, led by Glenn Rice and Ramil Robinson, beat ACC powerhouse North Carolina to go 3-0 under head coach Steve Fisher and earn a trip to Seattle for the Final Four. If taking a team for the first time to the Final Four in the school's history is the definition of March Madness, then Seton Hall is the symbol. PJ's Pirates destroyed the running Rebels of UNLV 83-70 to take their school for its first time appearance in the Final Four. The Pirates will meet the Duke Blue Devils on Friday night, followed by the Illinois vs. Michigan game. That's all we have for this week in sports. We will now go with Jason Cheek and Mike Gergely for this week's feature.
March means a lot of things to people, but to hoop fans across the country, it means that the NCAA championships are just around the corner. Last week, the teams were narrowed down to the Final Four.
Duke has made the Final Four 3 out of the last 4 years, but have been unable to have taken it all.
Then there's Michigan, who's gone 3-0 under new head coach Steve Fisher.
Illinois is the lone ranked #1 team in their division, while Seton Hall has dominated their play.
We know who the experts think is going to win it all, but we thought we'd ask some students at Wells High School who they think is going to take home the crown. Who are you rooting for?
I'm rooting for Michigan. Michigan's going to take it all. Glenn Rice is the nation's leading scorer, and he's going to do it for him. He's going to play tenacious D, that's the word I was looking for. And he's going to be backed up by a tremendous front court and a great back court. So he's going to win.
Who's going to win it all?
I feel that Duke will win it all because Danny Ferry is just simply the best college basketball player in the nation, and they have a great defense. I feel that Duke is going to win it all.
What about you, Coach?
Okay, I'm going to say that Duke and Illinois are going to be in the finals, and I'm going to go with Duke by 10 points.
Why?
Well, because I've liked Duke ever since 1978. They got a great defense. They got the College Player of the Year in Danny Ferry, and they got an excellent coach in Coach K. So Duke's going all the way.
Who's going to win it?
Who's going to win it? I'll tell you who's going to win it. Mr. Moore tells me that Hudson College has got a good chance, but I don't know. Illinois looks good. Michigan's a good team, though. They're tough. And Seton Hall, I don't know. They could do it. I don't know. Maybe Duke. Jeez, they're all good. Great teams. But I'll tell you, I'm going to pick Illinois. I'm going to go with Illinois. Why?
Why?
Why? Because my buddy Scoot likes Illinois. He's from Illinois. That's why I'm going with Illinois. Illini, fighting Illini. Go team.
Michigan, #1. Glenn Rice is going to take it all. He's going to clean out. He's going to score 30 points in the Michigan game. That's all I got to say. Michigan's #1. They're going to take it all.
What about you?
Well, I feel it's going to be Duke all the way. The way they're playing, they're aggressive, they're big. It's Duke.
Okay, who do you think is going to win it all?
I'm going to go with my buddy Mike, and Illinois has got it all the way.
Who's going to win the NCAA championship?
Michigan. That's all that needs to be said. I go for the underdogs. I want Seton Hall to win it.
Who's going to win the NCAA championship?
I think Michigan's going to win because I like Detroit Pistons and they're from Michigan.
Whoever does win the NCAA championship, one thing is for certain. It'll be the first time that school does.
So go Seton Hall.
No, go Michigan.
Seton Hall.
Michigan.
Seton Hall.
Go Michigan.
Seton Hall.
Don't be a bad.
Thank you, Mike and Jason. If you want to stay in shape, you'll now have to go all the way to Biddeford. Fitness Format, located at the Bellevue Motel on Wells Beach, is temporarily going out of business. After the sale of the Bellevue, the new owners chose not to lease out their basement space to the owners of the Fitness Format, who also owns King's Gym in Biddeford. Fitness Format planning to relocate somewhere else in Wells, but until then, people wishing to continue lifting weights, doing aerobics, and working out will have the opportunity to use the facilities at King's Gym in Biddeford. Any balance remaining on current Fitness Format members will be refunded. Friday is the last day Fitness Format will be open for business. In other school news, what do you do when you have piles of papers, stacks of certificates, and bundles of budgets, reports that all need to be approved but put together into one newspaper by April 15th? You work diligently, of course, and that is just what the Wells-Ogunquit Superintendent's Office has been doing for the past month. The budget newspaper, which is sent out to voting public, consists of the administration reports, financial statistics, and pre-meeting notes. Hopefully, all the information will help to inform the public before voting day, which is scheduled for May 3rd in the high school gymnasium. All interested WH students are invited to attend an information meeting concerning peer facilitation. On Thursday, March 30th, current members will hold a meeting to inform potential new members about the peer facilitation. If If you are interested but unable to attend this meeting, please contact Mrs. Juno. Krista?
Thanks, Jen. In other Wells High School activity news, the National Honor Society is going to be putting flower power to use on March 29th, as they will be selling daffodils to benefit the National Cancer Society. The flowers will be selling for 50 cents each, or $4 for 10. So support the National Cancer Society and buy flowers. You might just want to save those flowers, though, for this girl you've been eyeing in your chemistry class, or that handsome guy that sits next to you at the lunch table, because the time is drawing near for you to make your prom night plans. Yes, prom tickets are on sale now in the main office. They will be sold throughout April, so don't miss your chance for a night full of excitement at the Portland's Sheraton Tara on June 2nd. Another big night is coming up for the Wells Players just 1 week from today, as they will be taking the stage for their opening performance of The Fantastics. This musical parable of love is directed by Janet O'Donnell and Vicky Patch, and stars Lucian Harton, Casey Hilton, Amy Ryan, Michelle Boudreau, Mark Hodder, Leah Dabati, Kevin Howard, Sarah Sawtelle, and Tracy Harnum. Tickets are on sale now in the main office for this delightful musical. Performances are on April 5th and April 6th. Are rush seats, and you must reserve seats for Fridays and Saturdays performances. Be sure to get your tickets soon, because they're going fast. That's all we have for tonight. Please join us next week for another edition of Wells High FYI. Good night.
Good night.